What is up, guys? It's Impulse here. I wanted to record a video about prank calls. I was thinking back to a lot of the prank calls I've done over the years. And I was thinking back to the first prank call I ever did. And I remember I didn't know what a prank call was. And my buddy in like second grade came over. And I guess he had done prank calls with his older brother who was in middle school at the time. And he was telling me what they were. And he gave the example, oh, you'd call a random number and you say in a robot voice, if you have Comcast, it will shut down. And I have no idea, like, obviously that's a super cringy prank call. Obviously a second grader making a robot voice. No one is going to believe that. But I thought that shit was the funniest thing I had ever heard. The idea that you could just call a random number and mess with that person, it like unlocked a new neuron in my brain. I was just so fascinated with this concept. And I remember fast forwarding like a couple, well, really, fast forwarding years and years and years, in high school, me and my friends discovered this app, right? This app was called Bluff My Call. If you know about this app, you know how, dangerous this app could be, because what you could do is you would put in your phone number, you would put in the phone number you wanted to call, and you would put in the phone number you wanted to show up as. And so if this person had that phone number as their contact, right? If you have their dad's phone number, you are going to show up as dad calling, right? And I don't know where this app went, because I tried to look it up a couple years ago or however long ago, and I could not find it. I could not find any app that did the same feature. So I have no idea if there were some laws changed, right? This could be a very, very dangerous, app to use, especially if you're trying to use it to scam people instead of just fuck around with people like we were using it for. But I remember one of the first prank calls I ever did with the app was I called a pizza restaurant that was, I say pizza, it was Papa John's, right? Papa John's in this shopping center that also had a Pizza Hut in it, right? There was a Pizza Hut like right down the parking lot, and then there was a Papa John's across there. And I remember being with my friends, and we put in the Pizza Hut phone number and made it come up as the Papa John's phone number. And I called them and I was like, hey, put a manager on. They put a manager on. I was like, this is Frank from the Pizza Hut. If you guys don't stop fucking taking our customers, I'm going to come across that parking lot and beat your ass. And okay, 15-year-old brain, right? Not the smartest, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going to start a pizza turf war. That's the funniest shit ever. Not thinking it through about how that's a super dick move. But I remember making a prank call like that, like first time ever with the Bluff My Call. Cause I remember my friend had discovered it, and what he had done is to use it again, not really thinking through or thinking about how this could affect someone else as you do when you're a dickhead 15-year-old. He called our friend who lived in his neighborhood, and he had her brother's phone number because he was really close with her brother. And also, I guess he like knew her parents, or somehow he had her parents' phone numbers as well. And so he calls her as her brother, who I think it was at a time when I think she was home alone or something where she couldn't go like just talk to her brother immediately. Her brother actually might have been at the house with him. I honestly can't remember, but calls her as her brother. She's like, hello. And he just starts breathing deeply. And she doesn't really react at all. I think she just thinks like, hello, and then just kind of hangs up, right? Then calls her as her parents, and like both her parents, and just on the mic, and she starts freaking out, right? Obviously, fucked up move, dickhead move, right? But she's thinking like, oh my God, my whole family has been taken by some psycho serial killer who's breathing on the mic and he's coming for me. And then I can't remember how she figured it out. Like, I think she might've called back her brother, and either he told her, or if he wasn't there, he was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're all good. Blah, 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 blah. But, that was like the unlocked thing where it's like, oh, all right, we can like start some trouble with this app. And I remember I had a group of friends that we were all on the rowing team, right? Crew. You'd go to these regattas on the weekend where we'd load up on like 2 buses and we'd drive like an hour and a half away, and we would like be there all day, and then we'd come home at night and like put the boats away and stuff, right? And so there was a group of twins, or, there's a pair of twins on the team who was a year older than me. And all I knew about them is they were not able to really hang out with us outside of school because they had super strict parents, right? I didn't really know too much about it. I just knew, hey, parents are super strict. We can't really hang out with them outside of just, going to the sporting events or seeing them at school. And one of the twins was on the bus with us, and one of the twins was on the other bus. And so we were talking about this app, and he's like, hey, you should call my brother as our dad and pretend like you're pissed. And I'm thinking, I'm like, 15 at the time, like, no way your brother's gonna believe that I'm your dad. I don't even know what your dad looks like, much less like sounds like. And so, but we were like, all right, that's funny. So I call his brother, his twin, as his dad. And I was like, I guess it was very loud on the bus because he believed it. I was like, you and blank, his brother, need to come home right now. And I don't remember if I hung up or if he was like, okay, or like, I don't remember what was said. I just remember saying that. And then I remember getting off the bus and he was like white face, comes straight up to his brother and is like, we've got to go home right now. Dad just called. And then we felt really bad. I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. I did not realize, just being dickhead teenagers doing prank calls. Like, I'm so glad, I see some of these TikTok pranks, I see some of these TikTok prank calls. I'm like, I'm so glad this, we had Vine, we had kind of YouTube, but there was no really like it's not like it is now where people are messing around with people posting it online, which is, not a that's also a dickhead move. And I'm just really glad that didn't exist, because I definitely would have had in my head like, oh, we should post some of these, even though a lot of them were just cringy and wouldn't be funny to anyone but us. But definitely let me know in the comments if you guys remember like the first prank call you did, if you remember some of the prank calls you did that didn't turn out well, or prank calls you did that you're actually very proud of. I think prank calls can be hilarious or just super, super cringy. And I feel like the funniest prank call is the prank call you are doing. It's not the prank call you're watching on YouTube, because there's something about having that phone. And I remember being in like 4th, 5th grade where it doesn't, like, you could just say fart and hang up. Like, you could call Target and be like fart and hang up. I don't remember actually doing this, but just for an example, like, if you just called that, like, it would be the funniest thing in the world. Like, oh my gosh, we just said poop on the phone. Oh, that's so funny. But I would say the last prank call memory I have, like the most recent one, is it wasn't my prank call. It was actually my fiance's, right? And we're at our friend's house. They're kind of throwing like a small, like, kind of party with just a bunch of like our friends, like maybe like 10 people there, right? Not a big rager, but just like a group of 10 of our close friends. And we were playing this board game where it's like a drinking game, and one of it was make a prank call, and my fiance makes a prank call. And if you know my fiance, like, she would never like try, like, I'm the chaotic one. She's not the one who's gonna try to go out of her way to fuck with someone, right? And so I was super excited to see. I didn't even think she'd do it, but she called the sex store and she was like, hey, and we have it on recording, but she called the sex store and she's like, hey, I put a butt plug, I bought a glass butt plug in there and it's stuck. And I think, if it was a guy calling or whatever, maybe it wouldn't have been believable. But I guess because it was a girl, the guy on the phone, like, he believed that, like, he was so concerned. You could hear from his voice. And the thing that made it better was she was trying not to laugh, but it sounded like you could see how it could sound over the phone. It didn't sound like she's trying not to laugh, like you're just holding in a giggle. It sounds like you're holding in pain or you're feeling uncomfortable. And he was like, oh my gosh, tried this, and this. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's not working. He's like, hey, I think you need to go to the hospital. And she's like, okay, but can I get like a refund or can I return it? And we were all dying. And like, obviously, you know, prank calls are not as big when you're 26, 27. But I just have such great memories just with those first initial prank calls, being in elementary school, being in middle school and high school, and just thinking these are the funniest things in the world. And then you think back to them, and you're like, all right, that was kind of cringy, or oh, that was a dickhead move. Definitely, though, let me know in the comments of any prank call stories you guys have. I definitely have a couple more if you guys are interested in hearing more of the stories. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.